Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we've even got the hat.
We do. Of course, we have the hat.
Of course.
I'm straight out of the fields today, right? I love the back
Yeah.
contest. That's amazing.
Thank you. I thought it was very fitting.
I thought so too. Very, very appropriate. Oh,
I tried to do that, but it kept cutting off my hair, and I looked like I had half a head, so I chose not to
I
do
thought you were
that.
going to say bald. I was like, what's wrong with being bald?
I was going to say that, but then I thought I better not.
It's like I need to have a hat on because it's that witch's thing right on my forehead.
Cool. So do we all have the wines ready to go?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So excited.
I'm
This
really
is so amazing.
This
So I think what we should be doing is we'll start with the garden, eh?
Yeah. So I am quite excited about this. Let's start with the garden series. What's the difference between our garden and art series that we're expecting?
Okay, so the most amazing thing about these two wines is if you look at them at a glance, you're not going to notice any difference, right? They look very similar.
Saw that.
But they're two different grapes, which I'm really loving. So the garden series is complete Merlot, all right? It's straight Merlot. Whereas the art series is Cabernet Franc dominant with a touch of Merlot. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got it the wrong way around. The other way around.
Okay.
Don't film me. Don't film me.
Excited.
All right. The hue is the biggest indicator in these two. So there's a difference in the hue. So if you hold it up to the light, it's a different thickness to the wine. The most amazing thing is when you taste it, that's where the journey starts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going to really notice the difference between our absolutely approachable, beautiful garden series and the art series.
So we're jumping in with the garden series, yes?
Absolutely. Perfect.
Now, you suggested we taste this at room temperature. Why?
So when wine is first bottled, it goes through a system called bottle shock. And I find that the taste of wine when it's chilled, when it's very first bottled, it just tastes bruised, and it just you lose some of the actual finer points of the aroma and the taste. It just sort of disappears. So by drinking it at room temperature, you're able to be opened up and just beautiful.
Ooh.
This smells decidedly different than the 2020 Rosé.
Yep. Remembering we've never done a garden series rosé. So this is the very first time we've done a garden series rosé.
So the garden series is designed to be more approachable?
Approachable, fun, thinking, sitting in the garden, chilling out, summer's afternoon, really relaxing and just enjoying yourself with a whole group of friends. What I actually would probably suggest you do is if you've got two glasses there, have we got two glasses, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe put a little bit of the art series in just so you can smell and compare against them as well, because that's where you really start on the nose. That's where we start smelling the difference.
Art series, yeah.
Yep, art series, which is Merlot, 100% Merlot. I get it right this time. And it's 13%, so it's not very heavy in alcohol.
Are they both 13%?
The garden series is slightly higher, but only by 5%, 0.5%.
Yeah, we ain't doing it.
Yeah, don't film me. Big voiceover.
I don't want to be drunk by now.
Oh.
They do have a very different bouquet, though.
Very distinct. Absolutely.
So,
I just want you to really smell that before you taste it.
What do you expect as this settles into the bottle?
The garden series we're talking about? Yeah. I'm really thinking the aromatics in the Merlot is going to come, and the Cabernet Franc will all blend together. So it's quite aromatic. I expect that raspberry note that you get just a hint of will open up and develop quite intensely. I also get red apple in there, you know, that real red apple smell just before you bite into it, you smell a red apple and it's just there on the nose. I imagine that's going to open up a bit more as well.
Some of that sharpness will settle out, won't it, after bottle shock?
Absolutely. So our wines, as you know, what we do is we keep our wines quite high in natural acidity. And that's really deliberate because we want the wines to match with the food. All right. So whatever Josh is creating in the kitchen, we really, really want that to match with whatever is going on. So the acidity in this is quite lively, which means that it will settle quite a lot as time goes on. So even within the next month, I expect this to be a lot softer.
Okay, good. Now I'm probably 2 steps ahead of you because I've already just poured the art series. I'm too excited. I'm not going to lie. I'm waiting for the third one. That's where I'm headed.
Yeah.
So garden series, approachable, easy drinking, fun sort of day. No pretense. This is just about enjoyment. It's soft. You've got a real lovely sweetness in that mid palate.
Yeah, I'm really tasting that. The slight sweetness compared to the art series.
And the Cab Franc's bringing the aromatics and those spices in that I'm really loving. So those will all soften out and become real yummy. Is yummy a technical word?
I will say I'm quite surprised by the difference between last vintage and what we're doing here with this garden series. That's not the same rosé.
Yep. What's your thinking?
Like I said, I'm actually quite pleased with the fact that it is a very, very different rosé. It is going to sit in a little bit more of that sweeter realm and probably fit to the New Zealand market a little bit more.
Yes, so that was a big thing, was we had a lot of feedback of our customers wanting a sweeter style rosé. Which we've never done. Like all our wines are done always very dry. So this is the first time where we're keeping a little bit more residual sugar in there. And I think we've hit it on the nail. I think our customers are going to be really happy with this.
Yeah, it's a little bit of sweetness without being
overly sweet.
For me, that really fits into the category of our garden series. I see that as being easily quaffable. Give me it in a summer setting. Give me a picnic basket up the hill, that sort of thing. I think that's going to be where we're going to sit with that.
Yeah, and I see this one as being, it's just going to hold its flavors because the flavors are quite deep. When it's ice cold, it's just going to hold the flavor. You're not going to end up just tasting like sugar water, like some of those rosés you can get. The deep raspberry flavors are just going to hold really well when it's deeply chilled.
I like what you said about that red apple. I do definitely see that coming through, and I'm actually keen to see how that characteristic develops as that bottle shock wears off.
Yeah, absolutely. Loving it.
But I'm sitting here with a glass of the art series now. Not gonna.
Okay, so let's quickly move to the art series so we're on the same page.
What do you mean? I set the pace and push things? No.
I find the art series one like quite soft and smooth.
Yeah, and that's because it's straight Merlot. So our art series last year wasn't Merlot on its own. This here is a straight Merlot, which gives you that soft, round mouthfeel that you normally get with Merlot. I mean, it's just quite distinctly different to what we've done in the past. So we've always gone for quite a crisp, clean, minerally taste. This year, we've again taken the feedback from everybody over this year that have come in for tastings and drinking our wine. And they said they want something a little bit softer, a little bit rounder on the palate. What I'm liking about this is that it's quite, drinking it cold, room temperature like this is really amazing because I'm actually tasting a lot of layering. And that's what I try and do with all our wines when we're building the wine up, is create complexity, especially with the art range. You want that complex layers. I went with everyone's feedback. Yes, they wanted something softer and more approachable, but I didn't want to lose that complexity in our art range. I think we've got that.
Well, I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised. Actually, I'm not going to lie. When I looked at the wines coming out, Visually, they seemed very, very similar, which I expected to be quite different. And so in the tasting here, you actually can very easily tell the difference already. This one does have a little bit, even fruit sweetness. It's not as fruit sweet. It's not dry, I wouldn't say.
No, it's more of a crisp dry.
Yeah.
It's kind of more leaning towards not quite Granny Smith Christmas in the nose, but it's in that green apples sort of crisp dryness. But I really get a lot of hibiscus and citrus in there as well.
I think for me, once that bottle shock wears off, you're going to lose a lot of those astringent notes, and you're going to actually settle into the flavor profile of the wine itself, which is going to allow a lot more complexity to come through. Tess, going into, like, now that we've tasted these two, heading into the summer menu and that sort of stuff, how do you see these working in the restaurant?
Oh, super well. I mean, rosés you can definitely pair with like fresh seafood and fish, which are always big ingredients on our spring and summer menus. I think both of them also would pair super nicely with the Freddy's fried chicken, which is always a fan favorite year round. And this,
I can actually see that match working with the art series in particular.
Yeah, the spiciness in there is going to really help.
Yeah, just like that slight kick would pair really nicely. And the garden series with that slight sweetness aftertaste, I think could make a really nice sangria.
Ooh.
For the bar.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I think, and the fact that we're drinking both of these at room temperature, and that very clearly doesn't compromise the flavors and whatnot, definitely just reiterates that both of these are going to be perfect for like summer weather, like you say, sitting out on the grass, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, that was a big thing. Like last year, 2020, was creating a rosé out of a red wine process. So really switching it up and using a total different process with the wine. So although it's traditionally made, while we were making the wine, we totally changed it up and actually treated it like a red wine. So the 2020 is the first time where you've got a rosé that you can still drink beyond the year. I mean, that's really amazing. So we can be drinking, we'll pick doing the rosé for the next 5 years, 2020. These are done on the same level where although we've done the traditional cold stabilizing and working with them like you do with the rosés, they are made like a very stable red wine. So even if there are people that wouldn't normally drink white wine or rosé, they can still drink it very comfortably within a group because it drinks lovely at room temperature.
And we're not expecting to lose any coloring of the 2020?
No, the color's going to pretty much stay as it is. And I kind of picked that. That's quite cool because this is like, it's a mystery box, this is really showing how something that looks very similar can be totally different under the covers. It's this to me is showing our creativity, because it's really easy to make a wine that looks distinctly different. So you're playing with people's eyes straight away, but this is kind of using, hey, looks exactly the same, but the really unique wines underneath it. I like that. I think that really builds in with our Sculptureum story. It's showing that actually we're not doing the traditional thing here. These wines look similar, but underneath the story is really different.
Well, good on you for taking that directive on board. I'm quite happy to see where the diversity of our wines are heading. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit surprised and pleasantly surprised. This is showing the diversity of what you're doing up there in the vineyard. So
look, 2021 was just a stunning year. I mean, the red wines coming off the base of these are going to be mind-blowing. Like the Cezanne, I just wanted to jump in the back straight away when I was tasting it out there at the winery. It's just glorious. And that's the Syrah. And the whole reason we didn't use the Syrah in our rosé this year is because it was just so good, and we really wanted to do a beautiful Cezanne Syrah this year. You know, we just had to. It's just too glorious. And the same, the Merlot had to actually get picked really, really early to be able to get the Rosé, because it was just so ripe and so stunning. You know, I mean, crazy, people would say crazy to do rosés on such a beautiful year, but what we've done is taken the beauty of the red wine and actually kept it going through. So it's not a footnote. These three wines actually stand up on their own, eh? They're just glorious. Yeah. I'm so excited. No one else has done 3 rosés in their stable like what we've done. So I think we can be really proud of that. Yeah. And when we taste this one, like this one here, I've already got 10 cases sitting on the sideline for me, I tell you.
Can we open it already?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really excited about this one. So this is our sparkling. Yes, this first.
Now we've deliberately gone for the crown cap.
Yeah. And
the beauty of that is again, this is a garden series. In the garden series, you're talking summer barbecues. People are always going to have beer. They're always going to have a beer opener. And here you go, you've got one tool to do everything.
I said that's a tasting glass, right?
Yeah, that's just a tasting glass.
A tasting glass.
It is on the first day of level 3, let's be honest.
For myself, I love to drink sparkling wine in the flattered. Look at that, it's just beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, you're rocking the Coke.
That is a nice glass. That is a nice glass. Cheers.
This is the only way I drink sparkling wine. I love to be able to taste and smell the whole of the wine, and I love to be able to see the bubbles coming through fully.
Well, that's why I was putting that up there. Those bubbles are actually quite refined.
They're glorious, aren't they? Look at that.
I think the
very fine.
They're not in the proper string of pearls is probably more to do with my glass than anything, but
yeah. So these sort of glasses really suit the sparkling wine. The bubbles will stay throughout the whole thing.
Oh my!
Only done to 2.5 atmospheres, so it's very light. It's more effervescent. Someone else can say that word for me.
Effervescent. Sorry.
That's the job. Yeah.
There we go.
Sorry. Someone else say the word. Yeah.
Ooh.
What do you think?
It's so nice.
I'm not gonna lie. On the nose, that smells like, for me, candy. My wine candy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna. I
get melons coming through. You know the rock melon.
Definitely.
It's just really subtle, but it's there, which is absolutely fascinating because it's exactly the same wine as this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's bringing forward the melon taste in it, just from the pressurization.
So where in the process did that change to this?
Last week. So basically, when they were bottling this wine, we took 1,800 litres and put it to Solgens out in Kimu.
Mm.
And that's where we've changed it from a still wine to a sparkling wine. We've kept it really light, really, that word. Because I wanted something that was, again, taking people's feedback all through the last 2 years. I've been saying to people, if I was going to do a sparkling rosé, what would you like to see? If you were drinking a wine, what would you like? And so I've taken everybody's feedback, and that's what we've gone for. I haven't gone for heavy brute. We've gone for something light and fun, and just it's going to be a real amazing party wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will. So
summertime in the sun.
But it smells nice. It finishes really clean on the palate. And that's really important for me. Is all our wines are clean finishing. There's no cloyness to them. So although there's that sweetness in there that you tasted in the garden series, it doesn't saturate the palate right at the end.
Yeah.
I agree with you that I think this will settle into that sort of friends and family party wine sort of atmosphere. I guess my question then is, Tessa, being the food and beverage manager, where do you see this fitting on the site for us?
I think, like you said, I think I see it as a celebration wine. So like It'd be a great start to any function. Definitely
Any day.
Yeah.
any day. In the outdoor settings, it'd be incredible. So the wine caravan, Freddy's, walking through the gardens with a glass of this would be, you know, ignite the senses type thing to pair with the art.
Agree full-heartedly. I think on this, I think I'm intrigued to see how this settles into the bottle, but I think this might be the type of thing that we build the picnic basket on the hill around.
No, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Very much so.
Yeah. But definitely out of that wine caravan for sure.
Yeah. Like along with a platter, just sitting, enjoying.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, perfect.
That.
Fireworks and all. Our rosé. My
Yeah, but I'm just
ideas.
thinking also, you know, like this is, you know, you're talking about dining at dusk. Or dining at dusk with blush.
Yeah. Start this
You
off.
know, like
Start off with
it
this.
just works. It's so
Yeah.
lovely.
And if you go New Year's Eve, Doug, with the bubbles and the fireworks, they pair together.
There you go.
You know my marketing bent, don't you? Well played. Wow, yeah.
Are you happy with it? Because this
Yeah.
has been a big risk. This has been a big risk-taking thing. It's a big, bold stance for us to do this. We've got 3 rosés coming out of our stable this year. Like I say, no one else has done this.
Yeah.
Do you guys reckon it'll fit within our range? You know, like what we're selling with the foods?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's their thing. If, you know, we're trying to have multiple offerings to fit kind of every demographic. It's the same with the rosé. We've got 3 different styles to be able to cater for all the different customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really shocked given how young these wines are and the fact that the 2 stills are really suffering from bottle shock right now. And I'll ask you about that in a second, Tina. But given that's where they're at, I'm really beyond thrilled and pleasantly surprised at how different the 3 are already displaying. That sparkling in particular is a standalone. It is just, even if it's the same process and the same grapes and everything like that, it is just a different wine. So kudos to you. Going into that, I do have to ask though, when do you think that bottle shock is going to wear off? Are you thinking, I can't imagine it's going to be before October. I'm thinking probably November until we're really settled and ready to go.
Last year we allowed 6 weeks for the bottle shock to wear off. And I think it took about 8 weeks, to be quite honest, before I felt that I wanted to drink the wine on its own. They were drinking well with food before that because we did launch it, and they were drinking very well. But I feel that it was 8 to 10 weeks before they really dropped that tightness and they actually came into their own. So I'd imagine it's going to be pretty much the same this year.
Okay, so we're looking.
I think Brooks & Co have done a great job because it's keeping with our ethos. You know, the wines are actually really elegant. You know, it's always been a big thing for me is I want wines to be elegant and complex, and I think they're keeping that without being fussy. Because it's easy to take that elegance into fussiness too quickly.
So we'll be looking at
2
a
weeks.
mid-November-ish launch with this.
I think if we really want them to be like, this is it right now, mid-November is great.
Yeah. That'll actually be good because there'll still be a little bit of the 2020 left, and we can do a direct comparison once the bottle shock's worn off.
There we go.
I see it that we could do a tasting, like we could give everybody a chance to taste the 4 rosés side by side. That would be a lot of fun. And
could be a
because
wine flight as well.
Say that again.
It could be a wine flight on its own as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think because it makes something really unique. It's really, no one else has done anything like this. And celebrating rosé and what it means for us for summertime, you know?
Yeah.
Because we are a summer destination. Yes, we are winter as well, but we are about the beauty of the summer gardens, the summer events. You know, to me, it works really well with us.
What was that? What you said about blush? Like, what makes you blush or something like that?
Oh, hang on, I'd have to rethink what I said.
Yeah, earlier today, I think you said what makes you blush. To do with the rosé wine tasting. She's gone.
She's done.
Hold on, I can't remember. If something that I don't know, hopefully someone wrote it down.
No, I agree with what you're saying.
Oh, here we go. What makes you blush? Choose your style.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
I quite like that. I don't know how I came up with that. It was just one of those random things that comes out of your mouth.
Sounds a bit sexy as well.
I
why
like
not?
that bent. Tess B, do you think that we could, whether it's a canapé or an entree or something like that, is there a way that we could find a pairing with food as well? So
With the sparkling.
With
the sparkling.
All
or
four.
any of them.
All four.
All four.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, anything, we could definitely pair them. Start off with the sparkling, I think, obviously, with like the entree. We could even do like a set menu around all 4 rosés.
Yeah, easily.
That would be great. And I think all of them would, like, especially the sparkling, would really pop off for like Christmas parties and stuff, starting off the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Challenge for you and Tessa to work with Josh.
Mm-hmm.
I want a dessert that pairs with the sparkling.
Okay. Ooh.
I've done it before with the Moscato. There's enough sweetness in this wine to pair.
Okay.
I want to see that. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and the 2020 would go really well with a prawn dish or something like that that's got a little bit of its own richness behind it. Helps to cut that acid because it's got a higher acid level. So anything that's like those sort of dishes for the 2020 would be great.
Yeah.
I think give these a couple more weeks and then we'll have more of a read of what's going to really match for them.
Yeah, full flavor.
Yeah.
No. But I'm pleased with it. I was really concerned about the color, but I'm actually thinking, this is perfect. This is really showing creativity without being over obvious.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. When I opened the box and saw all 3 colors being basically the same, I was ready to yell and scream.
Yeah, well, you would have seen my email to you when I got them. I was just like, what the. And I was ready to get Sandra and Anthony onto a court case.
Let's review that contract, shall we?
I really was quite stressed.
Can you control that at all, Tina?
You can, and actually it's really interesting because when I did the final tasting of the wines, there was a distinct difference in the coloring. So somewhere along the process, they've settled out and come quite close to each other, which is really interesting.
Quickly,
I must admit, I was freaking
ask.
out when I first saw them. I was freaking out.
But like I said, when I saw the color, I was not pleased.
Yeah, it wasn't what was in my draft.
It was not what you presented to me. I'll tell you that.
But actually, I think this is really cool because it's what's under the covers that make the difference. It's not it's not the makeup on the front.
Yeah.
What's the fining process for all 3 of these?
So they've used milk product, so milk protein.
Okay, so they're not vegan friendly.
Not this year, no. Okay. No. Tess asked me about that before, and that was before we'd done it.
Okay.
For going forward, I'll make sure.
Sweet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So milk product for all 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's only really 2. There's 2 wines.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just want to double check again. I know you've told me, but clarify again. Why did we use the bottle capping on the sparkling?
Look, the bottle capping is about being sustainable.
Okay.
for us as well, for me, this is about being an approachable, easy style wine. And the Crown Cap is made actually in New Zealand, so it's got really low air miles or
Carbon footprint.
what do they call them? Footprint.
Yeah.
And if you're at a barbecue, everyone's drinking beer. Everyone's going to have a bottle opener. It makes life really transferable for everybody. It makes it easy. It's not complicated. The other side of it is cork is really having a massive impact on all the cork fields all over the world. And the cork fields are really becoming quite decimated.
Right.
It's not a really sustainable way to go. And to get them down here, it's a really expensive game to play. Maybe moving forward with, if we do a sparkling rosé at some point with a little bit more heavy bruteness and, intense yeastiness, we could do a cork, but I think we need to look at other closures rather than cork. Myself, I think it's, as much as I love the romance of popping the cork, I think it's had its day. It's, it's not environmentally friendly to do this. And this here is recyclable, so the cork itself is actually recyclable. So we've got a young lad down in Lee who collects them.
You mean the cat?
The cat. The cat.
Yeah.
Don't film me on anything. Very me. I need another
Put your left hand on here and raise your right hand.
The cap is all completely recyclable. So there's a lot of reasons to do this. But the main thing for me was driving, why are we making a garden series sparkling rosé? And it was, this is approachability. This is for people to enjoy themselves. The amount of people today that cannot take a pressurized cork out is astounding. And it's embarrassing. I watch people and they're going to town on the top of the bottle, and it's just like, why does life have to be like that? The garden series is about being easy.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I can go on for hours about it.
Fair enough.
There's been a lot of thought.
I just wanted to clarify that. That kind of wraps it up for me. Does anybody have anything else to say or questions?
When are we expecting the reds, Tina?
So the Cezanne is not getting bottled to probably March next year.
Okay.
So it's still under barrel.
Yeah.
The Chardonnay is still under lees stirring. So we're deepening and intensifying the Chardonnay. Okay. That won't be bottled probably until February, March next year again. And the garden series Cabernet Franc Merlot will be ready February next year.
Nice. So 2022.
Yeah. And that's tasting amazing. So we've got some decisions to make on if we want to keep it Cabernet Franc Merlot or if we want to do two separate wines within that. There's a few choices to be made.
Decisions.
Yeah, a bit more tasting to happen before then.
Oh no, please don't make me drink any more wine. I don't like it.
Sorry, what was that, Tess?
Are you doing a blend for both garden and art series? In a Syrah?
So this year, the Syrah is going to be a straight Cezanne, so it'll be art series only.
And that's because this vintage with the Syrah, it fits into our art series. It's singing, it's inspired, it's the longer you spend with it, the more you get out of it. It's everything that our art series is.
Totally is. It was just Moorish, like I wanted to bathe in it. It was just glorious.
And what's the staff price on it?
Hey, what was
staff
that
price?
The Cabernet Franc is actually drinking where I would like to see it as an art series, but we've never done a straight Cabernet Franc with the art series, so that's a few discussions we've got to have. Mm-hmm.
That's her bribing me with a few bottles of wine before she asked me my permission on that. That's exactly how this is going to play out.
I know, you know, like Cabernet Franc has always been a hard sell in New Zealand, but 2021, the ripeness in those grapes were just stunning, you know, so I don't think it would be a hard sell as long as we're not focusing on a varietal. We're going on the taste, the styling of the wine. That's a big thing. What we do is focus on what the year's giving us, what the soil and the climate's giving us. So the terroir, if you like to use that word, but I'd rather just say, you know, it's what it's been given to us for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's I need another wine. Hang on. I forgot.
It's almost a bit kind of like that blind tasting. So rather than labeling it so heavily as a Cab Franc, so people just don't order it, just call it something else, they try it and then they're blown away.
And I think styling it so it's got a name that's approachable for people, I think is the way to go.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I will say this, I am pleasantly surprised in even tasting bottle shocked wines where we're at right now. I'm really looking forward to how these settle down.
But they've even opened up as we've been sitting here. They've even opened up now.
Yeah. Kudos to you, Tina, and the team in the vineyard. And again, to our team that actually did the harvest this year, everyone was up the hill. So, you know,
we were all partook in making this wine.
And Tess and your team. And, everybody got up there and shared a little bit and packed it. So well done. I'm really looking forward to how this plays out. So thanks for jumping on. Thanks for this tasting, and looking forward to what happens in mid-November when this is settled and ready to launch.
Yeah, so totally am. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.